Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Purple and Gold family, buckle up, because today's Minnesota Vikings news is one of those conversations that hits right at the heart of this franchise. This is about hope, patience, pressure, and the never-ending search for that guy under center. Here's the teaser that should grab you immediately. The Minnesota Vikings are still waiting for their franchise quarterback. And depending on how you look at it, that wait has lasted nearly 50 years, all the way back to the retirement of Fran Tarkenton. So the big question today is simple but heavy. Is J.J. McCarthy the answer? Or is Minnesota already preparing to turn the page again? Let's break this down together, Vikings to Vikings. Vikings fans, we all know this feeling too well. Every offseason brings optimism, debate, and that quiet fear that maybe the answer still isn't on the roster. Quarterback has been the defining question of the Minnesota Vikings for generations. From flashes of greatness to seasons of frustration, the search never truly ends unless you land a true franchise QB. That's why every snap, every quote, every decision feels magnified in Minnesota. And right now, J.J. McCarthy sits right in the middle of that storm, with the entire fanbase watching his every move. 2 seasons into J.J. McCarthy's career, the sample size is already a concern. Out of a possible 35 games, he's appeared in just 10. Availability matters in the NFL, especially at quarterback. When McCarthy was on the field, the performances didn't exactly silence the doubters. There were moments, yes, but there wasn't that consistent command that screams, future of the franchise. That's why the Minnesota Vikings are already being linked to other quarterbacks. And that alone tells you how uncertain the situation feels inside the building. Let's be honest, Vikings fans don't want excuses anymore. We want answers. And the numbers don't lie when you look at McCarthy's early production. He completed less than 60% of his passes, threw 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's not just growing pains. That's a red flag in a league that demands efficiency. Even the underlying metrics painted a rough picture. For a rookie quarterback, you want to see progress trends. Instead, the data suggests inconsistency and poor decision-making under pressure. Now here's where things really got interesting this offseason. General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was asked directly if he wants J.J. McCarthy to be the Vikings' starting quarterback next season. This was the moment fans waited for. A chance for clarity. A chance for confidence. A chance for the organization to stand behind its guy. But what we got instead was a carefully worded answer that left the door wide open. Kwesi didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He talked about goals, playoff runs, and flexibility. And in the NFL, words like flexibility usually mean competition is coming. He emphasized building the roster in a way that allows multiple shots at success. That's smart team building, but it's not exactly a vote of confidence for McCarthy. In simple terms, the Vikings are refusing to be boxed into one quarterback plan, and that speaks volumes. When a general manager avoids committing to a quarterback, it's never accidental. Every sentence is intentional. Every pause is strategic. Kwesi made it clear his priority is winning, not protecting feelings or draft narratives. And that mindset tells us exactly where the Minnesota Vikings are right now. They're not rebuilding. They're not waiting. They're trying to win now. This also sends a loud message to the locker room. Nobody's job is safe, especially not the quarterback position. Competition is coming. Whether through free agency, the draft, or a trade, the Vikings are almost guaranteed to bring in another signal caller. And for McCarthy, that means the pressure just doubled overnight. Let's not forget the human side of this story. J.J. McCarthy does have traits teams like. Coaches often praise his character, work ethic, and leadership. Those qualities matter. They keep players in the league longer than talent alone. But eventually, production has to match potential. And right now, potential is the only thing keeping McCarthy in the conversation. Another layer here is Kwesi Adofo-Mensah himself. Let's be real, his seat might be getting warm. The all-in approach last season didn't work. Expectations were high, and the results didn't match the vision. That creates urgency. When a general manager feels pressure, patience becomes a luxury, especially at quarterback. That urgency explains everything. The Vikings can't afford another lost season waiting for development that may never fully arrive. Every decision from here on out will be about maximizing wins. That includes being ruthless at the most important position in football. If McCarthy wants to be the guy, he's going to have to take it, not be handed it. Now, Vikings fans, this doesn't mean the story is already written. Quarterback careers aren't linear. We've seen players struggle early and explode later. Growth happens fast in the NFL when the light finally turns on. But hope alone won't keep you QB1 in Minnesota. This offseason is going to be massive. Every rumor, every workout, every visit will matter. If the Vikings sign or draft another quarterback, the message will be crystal clear. Competition decides everything. And that might be exactly what this team needs. From a fan perspective, this is frustrating, but also refreshing. The Minnesota Vikings are refusing to settle. They're chasing playoff runs, not comfort. They're chasing banners, not excuses. That mindset might finally be the one that leads them to the quarterback they've been begging for. So what does this mean for J.J. McCarthy right now? Simple. The clock is ticking. Training camp will be a proving ground. Preseason snaps will matter more than ever. Every throw could decide his future in purple. For the Vikings, the goal is clear. Win now. Win consistently. And don't get stuck waiting on what if. That philosophy might hurt in the short term, but it's how contenders are built. And Minnesota wants to be a contender, not a question mark. Vikings Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you still believe J.J. McCarthy can become the franchise quarterback? Or do you think the Minnesota Vikings need to move on and find a new leader under center? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate is just getting started. No matter where you stand, one thing is undeniable. This offseason will define the future of the franchise. Every decision at quarterback will ripple through the locker room, the fan base, and the front office. This is Minnesota Vikings news at its most intense. And if McCarthy does rise to the challenge, imagine the story. From doubt to dominance. From question mark to cornerstone. That's the kind of comeback Vikings fans would rally behind in a heartbeat. But until then, nothing is guaranteed. So stay locked in, Vikings family. This quarterback saga is far from over. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, drop a comment with your take, and make sure you're subscribed for more Minnesota Vikings news every single day. Share this with a fellow Vikings fan, and as always, Skol, Purple Heart, Yellow Heart.